What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're actually going to be talking about automotive YouTubers and how I rate them on a scale from F to S. This is actually a very popular concept on YouTube to rate others or rate other things on some sort of tier list. And so today, what I'm actually going to do for you guys is actually kind of just give my opinion, a little bit of a rant, and just say, hey, let's rate some automotive YouTubers and what my opinion is of them. Right out of the gate, we're going to go ahead and look at ChrisFix. Now, ChrisFix has been a big help in YouTube, his fan base. He does a lot of DIY stuff. I think that's basically the majority, if not all, of his content is DIY stuff. I even look up to his channel a lot of times whenever I need help on something, teach others on how to do it, right? If you're not aware of how to do it or where things are, where parts can be located, things like that. So it's his channel, most definitely, like right out the gate. We're already at a great start here. ChrisFix is very informative, very specific on information, tells you everything you need to know on how to do things. So we're gonna slap first one right out the gate. We're gonna actually just put this right in the S tier. Next up is DeMuro. He reviews vehicles. I've watched his channel a few times, quite a few times, and it's very repetitive. And I think for actually a lot of automotive YouTube channels that do like car reviews, a lot of them are repetitive because they have a certain formula is working. They're going to go ahead and repeat or mimic exactly that kind of process or formula in order to, retain that many viewers on the next one or grow. Watching his content, I think he's very informative. I think in some cases he's a little biased, but I think that's kind of part of the journalism of it, right? He's obviously has some sort of like journalistic roots or ambitions. So, I mean, he's been around for a while. I remember in the early days when I actually used to watch him on some car reviews, he was an excellent choice to watch because he was very descriptive about a lot of things and he kind of went over everything. I'm going to go ahead and put Doug in. I'm going to rate him as an A. Only because he reviews cars and stuff like that. He doesn't do he does a stellar job, but I think he just sometimes can't. It's just so repetitive with his formula that after a while, it's like, you know exactly what to expect. So we're going to go ahead and put him in A. Next up, we have Engineering Explained. Engineering Explained. Actually, I've watched this channel quite a few times. There was actually at one moment I went through like a little phase of actually being obsessed with the channel because I loved how much detail he went into things, and perfectly explained it on some sort of board. And just, it's like one of those things where like if a YouTuber or an expert in general is just talking about something and then when they convey it or in a way where it's explaining it to you like you're 5 and then kind of like ramping it up by the end of the video and you kind of have almost a complete understanding of what's going on. I think I love this channel more so because of that, because it's educational. I think it's educational is kind of an understatement because I think Engineering Explained has probably, and this is just my opinion, has probably helped tens of thousands, millions of people better understand something. And even if they don't get it right out the bat, they still understand it way better than they initially understood it before watching the video. And I think that's very important and a very big key to the success of that channel. So we're gonna slap that in S tier. We're already off to a great start on this. I think I don't know how much more S-rated stuff we're gonna have, but if it has anything to do with kind of vlogging, it's probably not gonna go well for them. Next up is Donut Media. Donut Media used to be really huge. I was an avid watcher of Donut Media back in the day. Then all of a sudden, some weird stuff happened where a program, like a broadcast company, bought them, and then all of a sudden, it was just kind of all downhill from there. I can't really explain why or how that happened. But as it goes, whenever some sort of broadcast company gets their dirty mitts on something, it usually ruins the channel. And YouTube is such a great tool for sharing information and posting content. And I think this is just my opinion, just a little bit of a side note here, is that broadcasting companies or companies in general should just keep their dirty mitts out of YouTube in general. If you ever feel like a broadcast companies, once they get like their dirty mitts onto a YouTube channel or buy a YouTube channel, doesn't it feel just like inauthentic? And all of a sudden just like it just doesn't feel relatable anymore. And they try so hard to be relatable, but you know, all these like rich suits that are buying this, they're passing them the ideas, so basically saying like, oh, this will be a good idea to make this video, and then all of a sudden the video like kind of crashes and burns. It's kind of one of those things where it's like it just doesn't feel authentic anymore. Like, this kind of sucks. So I think a little rant that I went off on beside that, I think Donut Media started out great. If we're talking about early days Donut Media, I was there. I remember watching before like 500,000 subscribers, and I was like hooked. I loved the channel. Great set of guys. Pumphrey was, I mean, he basically was the center of the channel. And once everything went downhill, that it fell hard. And in my opinion, I think Donut Media actually, I think this is going to be our first F, guys. Our first F, because what it is today is nothing what it was before. And what it is today is a piece of garbage. It's just all garbage in, garbage out. And there's nothing really all that much entertaining to it. And this is what happens when you have some broadcast company or some corporate, you know, suit come in and buy the channel or pay these people and then like put them under some sort of weird invisible umbrella and then just say, this is what I want you to do now. This is the content that I want you to make. It's like, guy, if you just left it alone and let them make the rules and like let them do it, it actually probably would have been still great. Next up, speaking of broadcast companies, corporate suits, and things of that nature, Jay Leno's Garage. Jay Leno's Garage, I will have to make an exception for. From those, you know, comments that I made previously, I know Jay Leno probably he definitely pays like a full crew to be making his YouTube channel. However, Jay Leno is just a genuine guy. I think he is probably the biggest famous celebrity that can relate to like your blue collar dude, or you know, just whatever, just to like, his car collection is huge, sure, but I think the guy, if Joe Schmo, you know, at a car meet were to like stand next to him and have a conversation, I'm sure that conversation would last a good while. And I think meeting him in person would just really, you know, change your opinion about him as a famous person, if you thought otherwise. So I think Jay Leno's Garage, we're going to go ahead and slap him in A. I think A is the best place for him. He's not an S because, yeah, there's some educational things to it, but at the same time, I think Jay Leno is just what kind of just knocks it down a notch is the fact that he's famous. He's already famous. So once he makes a YouTube channel, it's like, dude, yeah. I like people that, you know, start small and work their way up. So next up is Motor Trend Channel, F. Moving on, Mighty Car Mods, a fun channel. I think they're very entertaining. I've watched them in the early days. They've been great. They're, you know, they have episodes that are very educational, but also they have episodes that are very entertaining, and they have episodes that it's a little bit of a mixture of both. And I like that. It's just, you know, hey, these guys are having fun. It's great. It's lighthearted. You know, they don't take anything too seriously. You know, you don't have to stress about it. Here you go. We're going to do car stuff. And that's really kind of what it is. It's just some guys having fun, and that's it. We're going to put these guys in the A category. I might get actually some heat for that. Comment down below if you think I rated that incorrectly. Hoovie's Garage. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't really watch Hoovie's Garage that often. I've watched it maybe 1 or 2 videos from Hoovie's Garage. And to be honest, I'm just like, is it fair to say, like, I'm not a huge fan of people that have like huge supercar collections or any kind of collections in general, like where it's like very expensive. Because I feel like you already set a premise that people are, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with like somebody just going out of their way to show you, you know, the things that they have. But and there's nothing wrong with like a fan base either to be inspired by that, right? And be like, I want to get there. Like, how do I get there? And then, you know, they work hard and they get there basically. But for Hoovie's Garage, I don't really watch much of it. Hoovie's Garage, we're just gonna slap them and see. I think it's average. I think it's entertaining though. And so because it's entertaining, we're not gonna give Hoovie's Garage like a complete failure grade. That's unfair because that channel is entertaining. Next up, Scotty Kilmer. Scotty Kilmer, rev up your engines. You know, come on, man. Scotty's cool. A lot of people hate on him. I think Scotty's really cool. I think his heart is in the right place. Sometimes when he makes videos, you can totally tell that like he's being paid off because he's making this video about, oh, well, if you put head gasket thing in, you know, the sealer in your coolant tank and then just run your engine for a while, it'll seal your head gasket right up. And I watched one of these videos. I'm like, Scotty, how much did they pay you, bro? Like, Scotty, dude, how much did they? Because I would never in a million years, like, I'm very like sketchy around, you know, liquids, solve all liquids, because like those type of products I feel are just snake oil sales, and they're just wanting you to buy this product. It's a get rich quick crap. If there's a problem with something like a head gasket, what you need to be doing is replacing the head gasket. And I know that might require you, especially if it overheated a lot, I know that is going to require you to like get your head, you know, decked, get your possibly your block decked, because if it's aluminum, you know, there could be some more rich there too. You can find DIY solutions to actually deck your block and head, you know, but ultimately for me, Scotty sometimes makes videos where they're like, he's trying to sell you on this like liquid gold that is going to fix your car. And those type of videos, Scotty, if you're watching this, it's not it, dude. Stay away from that crap. Now, however, he does have a lot of good educational stuff, and I feel like he does give a lot of great tips on, say, you know, some videos he has where how to identify which wheel is squealing and which wheel actually needs brakes replaced, rather than, you know, trying to replace all of them or something like that. He definitely is the man that is trying to help people save money. And I feel like I do that a lot on my channel too, where I'm just like, yeah, let's try it out. Let's try to see if we can put a Band-Aid on it for now, you know, and it's not going to cause any catastrophic failure. It's just, you know, it's just something that's going to work for now in a pinch, you know. So Scotty, if you're listening, your channel is great, but I'm going to have to put you in a B, only because I hate the videos that you try to like sell like liquid gold to people, and I feel like it's forced. Next up is Shmee 150. So I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. I'm gonna put him in D, and I'm gonna explain why. I don't like vlogging channels. Vlogging is fine, as they say, like, you know, if you have content, record content, post content whenever you can. And I think that's fair. I do that a lot. I know a lot of other people, YouTubers, that are tremendously larger than I am, that just does that. Like, hey, this seems like content, I'm going to record it and I'm going to post it. And that's fair. However, vlogging stuff, I just sometimes, especially if the vlog is very, you know, catering to their, like a lavish lifestyle, to me, it feels dumb. Do something else with it, whatever. I just feel like it's so dumb, and I feel like a lot of these, and Shmee is I would have to say, out of all automotive vloggers, I think he is the most knowledgeable about the vehicles he drives and owns. I'm going to say that right out the gate. I think he is. I just don't like his content. I think his content is just following you around, you know, driving cars and meeting new people and like seeing new car unveilings. That's great. Those videos are awesome. I like seeing, you know, like where you're like seeing unveiling and then you actually get a nice sneak peek. I think Shmee has had like very exclusive things happen where he could see like cars before they're released. So that's actually pretty cool. I like that. I like those videos of his. So actually, I'm going to correct myself here and put him in C because I do like those videos. Next up is Supercar Blondie. Supercar Blondie, that one's going to be a D. I think she's a great person. She definitely seems like if you met her in person that she'd be very genuine. However, a lot of her content seems faked and forced, and this is something that I just don't like about some YouTubers. You can tell like what's authentic and what's not. And for me, Supercar Blondie is not. And I think she has a lot of access to supercars that you would never see in person. And that, I think, is the attractor of her channel. But I think Supercar Blondie definitely is gonna get put in D. Chris Harris on cars, another one that I feel like, you know, you're already, you know, you're an automotive journalist. You know, I love Chris Harris though. I think Chris Harris is an amazing person, and I think he knows his cars. He really knows his cars. So I'm gonna put this in B, only because his knowledge of cars and how he reviews cars is absolutely perfect. It's astonishing. And I think his opinion definitely does like not. His opinion is definitely unbiased, and it doesn't seem paid by someone else to be like, hey, say good things about our car. You know, I think he's actually giving a legitimate, like, honest review. Up next is Top Gear. Top Gear, we're gonna go ahead and honestly, with their new content now, I'm gonna put them in F. You guys screwed over the trio, the goats. Next up is Daily Driven Exotics. He just kind of seems like an asshole to everybody that he meets that has a problem with him. It just doesn't vibe well with me. His traffic stops are very famous because he's being let's face it, he's being a dick to cops, or cops are being a dick to him. I understand like a police officer being rude to you or whatever, or being like kind of like a little too, you know, practicing at their power. And sometimes that can like, yeah, of course. I think for Daily Driven Exotics, I just don't like it. It's very vloggy. It's very like, let's talk shit, like, but it's all like bullying people, even when they're bullied. Like, dude, you got all this money for all these like supercars. Just like, if someone's gonna like hate on you because of it, you should be used to it by now. Why the hell are we arguing with people? It just seems obnoxious, stupid. And especially with the traffic stops, I think that like it's just a waste of time to just sit here and argue with people. Just get the ticket, move on. I feel like he just argues it for the content, because that is his most like famous content, is arguing with police. If I was put in his shoes, I was just like, okay, cool, write me the ticket, let's go. The only issue that I would have is if like they're trying to tow my stuff. That is completely understandable. You know, he just kind of seems like this rich asshole. I don't know a single person personally that would like go out of their way to watch their content, because it just seems just obnoxious. So, and I'm gonna get hate for this, for even saying any of that stuff. I was like, what about that? And what about that? I don't care. I don't really care. You know, it just kind of, and maybe he's a great guy in person. Maybe he's a great person to like, as soon as you shake his hand, you can kind of like tell like, hey, this guy's actually pretty cool and pretty genuine, pretty nice. But I'm going to just call it as I see the content posted. And I'm just going to go ahead and go on a whim here and just put him in F. I don't like the channel. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't like the channel. All right. Next up, we have Legit Street Cars. Alex, great human being. I have met him personally. Very genuine, down to earth. The guy is just awesome. We can relate on so many levels. We both have wife, kids, etc., etc. So he's just a top-notch human being. I can tell you right now, the dude is S tier, 100% without a second thought. And it may be biased because I've met him personally on a few occasions. I've actually done work for him. To be honest, his channel is educational. It shows you things. His channel will, you know, go on adventures to the junkyard. You know, it kind of like involves everything. Like vlogging to go like pick up a car for sale. And then, you know, you're going to go see the car, and then you're reviewing the car and you're fixing it on the spot, and then like showing the process and showing like how he's going about it, and then driving it back home. And then he does this so many times that it's just like, yeah, I mean, he's obviously really good at this. I want to know, like, every time he announces he's buying a new car, I'm right on his YouTube channel because I'm like, I want to see how he just fixes it on the spot, or if he's going to trailer it back, because there are sometimes where he trailers it back. So, but in the meantime, I think super fair to put him in S tier. Alex is a genuine dude. He's very educational. He's very entertaining, and the vlogs, and I'm not a fan of vlog stuff, but I do like the fact that he's showing the whole process from beginning to end. He shows buying it, traveling over there to actually pick it up. He'll fix it on the spot and drive it all the way back. And it's like an adventure. Like when they do the vlogs, they cut on purpose. When they do these cuts, it's like, okay, great, get to the point, or get to wherever the next like eventful thing is happening. And they do that very well. Shout out to their editor, because he knows when, you know, there's good parts and when to cut. But also, like, I love that, like, you know, inside his shop, he's just showing you how to go about things, sometimes without, you know, very many tools available. Next up is the Stradman. So I'm going to put the Stradman in D, and let me explain why. Here's another YouTuber, and I know, oh my gosh, he started from the bottom and now he's here. He started from the bottom, he became entertaining, and you guys subscribed to him. He started earning YouTube money. He started diving into other things to make him money. I don't know when it happened, but at some point there was a tipping point, and somehow this guy just started going off on buying more and more vehicles. And I think he just kept on trying to outdo his own self. And I think in a way we lost touch of what the ultimate goal was. And the ultimate goal was, looking at his earlier content, it was obvious that this guy was just out to have fun, record that content. And because obviously it's a vlog setting, right? You're following along his journey, his life, everything else. Now it just seems like everything is just inauthentic, and, you know, something has some sort of selling point to it. I mean, I'm sure if I met him in person, I know several friends that have met him in person and have said, dude, you got it all wrong. He's a really nice, genuine dude. And I'm sure he is. I'm very sure he is. I just don't like his content. It's not for me, man. It really isn't. His knowledge of cars is basically to the extent of make, model, maybe year. And that's where I'm at with that. Put an engine on an engine stand, put it in front of Stradman and say, rebuild this, and let's put it in a car and it'll run fine. I don't think he would accomplish that goal without a lot of practice. And that's really what it boils down to. I like to watch somebody getting down and dirty and actually like getting into the work of it, and not sending it to some shop and then blaming them when in fact you had an agreement for a certain, you know, modification limit and horsepower limit, but then you break that contract, and then you start crap and try to ruin their business because of, you know, you didn't get your way. So for me, I'm just, in a way, just like, it's a vlog content. I'm not a fan of it. I think there's a place for it, and I think there are fans for it and watchers of it, obviously. Otherwise, you know, it wouldn't be at the place that it is right now. But for me, I post vlogs myself. I only do it because I'm bored and I don't have any content to post. Next up is Vice Grip Garage. Vice Grip Garage, I'm going to put them in A. And the reason why I'm not putting him in S is because it kind of seems like he kind of sold out to like that typical Motor Trend Discovery Channel BS. His content started out authentic. His content is still authentic, I think. Don't get me wrong. I still think his content is authentic. I do love the journey of like getting the vehicle, working on it, and then like, okay, well, here we have this rust bucket 1960s whatever, and now I'm going to get it started. It hasn't run in 40 years. I'm going to get it started though. You know, that in itself, that's a hook, line, and sinker for me. I'm going to watch it. Only because I want to see what steps he takes, you know, and he takes all the right steps, and he'll just mull over and explain why he's doing it, or like just you kind of just follow along his troubleshooting method. And I think it's just interesting to see other people. Everybody does things just slightly different than another. And I think that's an interesting aspect to watch. There's just this like little slight thing that's missing. And that thing that's missing is you know, what his earlier content was. It was definitely like kind of a step-by-step and is showing you through all the process. And he still does that. It's just, you know, for me, there's like this sellout vibe with it because he got involved with, you know, Motor Trend and all that other stuff. So if you enjoyed this, you know, or if you thought like somebody was misplaced in this list, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to hate on my decision. That's cool too. This is going to go along with my playlist into like rants and things like that. It is wintertime in Chicagoland, so we are frigid right now. So there is no room to make other content. So this is what I'm actually going to start doing during the wintertime. It's just kind of do these rants, these ratings, and I could even do some reaction stuff too, like how other automotive YouTubers, I could like react to their videos or something like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I would love to see where this type of content goes. So without further ado, I'm out of here and I will see you guys later.